So Ms. Sparks, class, thank you so much for joining us today. And at this time, I will ask our exhibitors to introduce themselves as well as the title of their session.
Okay, my name is Annette Fang. I'm a graduate student here at Virginia Tech. I am a PhD student in computer science.
Hi guys, my name is Charlotte. I am the user interface designer for this project.
Hello, my name is Nanling. This is my first semester of my master degree of computer science, and we are programmer of this project.
And hello, I'm Wallace. I'm assistant professor in creative technologies in the School of Visual Arts.
And so this morning we just wanted to introduce to you a little bit about what we do here at Virginia Tech. We do research in virtual reality. So what does that mean? We look at the ways that humans in the real world can interact with computers and programs in the 3D world. So you can ask questions like, what if instead of using a computer mouse or a touchpad or even a digital pen, what if you can just gesture with your hands and paint a picture on the computer? Or you can use your hands to mold clay in a virtual sculpting studio.
So I am the designer for the team. And today I'm just going to talk a little bit about what a designer does and what a designer is. If any of you guys have ever been on any social media, you'll notice that there's a lot of interfaces, a lot of screens to look at. So what a designer does is they go through and creates those screens and puts all the visuals onto those screens that allow you to see all the different elements and parts of the app itself. So that can include everything from the little reactions you see on Facebook, so the way the like button looks, the way the love button looks, to your actual feed, how you're scrolling through it, and then also to the web sense of how the mobile view translates over to computers. And then from there, we can even go one step further and look at VR, which is what we're doing with our project. And that's getting a little bit more into a sort of immersive environment. What the design process looks like. So in this instance specifically, there's a lot of brainstorming, and brainstorming is where we go and we get all of our ideas out on paper. We draw them, we sketch them and doodle them, and we put them all down so that we can have an idea of what we're trying to accomplish when we're looking at something in VR. So for example, if we're looking at how maybe Mario is going to go and pick a car and you're in a VR setting, you want to look at how all those different actions can be shown visually. So then from there we go to storyboarding, which is where we take our sketches one step further and we define them a little bit more and we really lay out our plan for how we're going to get Mario to pick his car. So are we going to have him tap something and then a screen shows up, or are we going to have him swipe or something? So all those different options go into the storyboarding. And then once we've picked a final storyboard, we end up creating the elements that go into that individual action. So that's going to be like the car, the environment, and what we do after that is we model them in the three-dimensional space. We give them lighting and we give them color. So that's a little bit of what a designer does.
There are a lot of things you could do in VR, and as you could see here, this is a VR headset that's in my hand, which is like a helmet, and you can just put it around on your head. There are a little pair of screens inside of here. You can see here they work as monitors, which some of you may play computer games before, so they are just normal monitors, which you can see, but instead is inside this helmet. And by putting on this headset, you can see another world, another reality, a digital one, a virtual one, and that is why we call this virtual reality. It works like computer monitors, which means that everything showed here is not statics. So as a programmer, I program what I want people to see inside these monitors, and or even play games inside the VR headset. the good thing about VR headset is that you could see what things around you just by looking around um, without pressing any key. Some of you might already notice that since we are putting on this VR headset, we're not easily to see the real world around us. So it might be hard for us to use the keyboard. So how are we going to control the VR? So we also have this pair of controllers in my hand, which works like a controller. So you can tap different keys around it that works to indicate the VR. If you want to shoot something, you just point to the direction and press the key, and that just works. I'm holding two controllers, and the VRC I'm seeing is our VR programming virtual world, and there's a panel in front of me, which is the code panel we use to do our coding. And the world around me is empty.
How did you get into the virtual reality and designing?
I was originally very fascinated by programming, but it's not in VR. Um, like 2 years ago, when I first tried virtual reality, I find that virtual reality has a lot of potential because unlike normal programming, you can do cool stuff like in a virtual world, like a 3D world. You can try different things in here, and instead of 2D.
So I think I got really interested in VR mostly because I think the concept of it is so interesting. It's so fun. Like I can be anywhere in the world in VR. You know, I can be sitting here, but you know, maybe I can go visit a museum in VR. There's a lot of different versatility, like with being able to be in a lot of different places and experiencing a lot of different things from a limited location.
Well, so one question that might come up is what kind of skills or knowledge do you need in order to play around or do things in the virtual reality?
So a lot of it is the brainstorming that we talked about, skills like being able to just kind of imagine and think outside the box, and then being able to, you know, put those down on paper and see where they take you. I think the opportunities in VR are really limitless. So it's about having a very open mindset.
What kind of salary is available for people that go into virtual reality design?
As you saw here, like VR design involves many different abilities, right? From graphic design, which is more related to the interface, to programming, to other user experience aspects. And those can be applied in like companies that are doing specific VR work. They're doing games for VR, for example, or doing applications of VR to like industry, so to make things more efficient or faster or to help train people, right? So it depends a lot on which of these areas you're going, if you're going like as a programmer or if you're going as a designer. But what I can say is that right now it's kind of super hot area because there are no many people like that have the experience, and there's a lot of demand because now people are starting to see that VR has many different applications. And we're talking about VR, but there's also AR, which is augmented reality. If you have ever played Pokemon Go, you can see like Pokemon, you can see other elements in the real world without having to put your headset on. That also uses the same set of skills.
For high school, if they're interested in going into virtual reality or programming, what kind of classes would you recommend they take in high school to be prepared?
So I would say algebra and geometry, because you have to understand how to work in a 3D coordinate system, because there is some math involved if you're going to program. I'm not sure, like if you were going to be a designer, you probably have to have some understanding of space, right? And being able to put objects in your world in certain positions. And then you have scaling, where you have an object of a certain size and you scale it to make it bigger and smaller. And so this all involves math. Definitely programming. I know high schools, more and more high schools are offering programming classes.
And I think for the design side, maybe you don't need to there's maybe a little bit less emphasis on math, but maybe if you have graphic design at your school, or if you have any art classes that kind of help you practice those like sketching skills that are really important in the beginning phases. Those are good classes to take if you want to do design.
She's asking, do you think it would be possible to
connect with your brainwaves to have anything you think of?
to safely connect with your brain waves to have anything that you're thinking of?
We're actually doing some research right now with another student that it's from the art department on how we can use like sensors to get our brainwaves and use that to modify things in our environment. So there are a bit of companies like looking for that and searching for alternative ways that are like safer and easier, that don't require you to make a hole in your skull and place electrodes inside there. But it's definitely a super hot area of research in human-computer interaction.
Thank you to our presenters. Thank you to Ms. Sparks' class for some wonderful questions.